All right, guys, today we got a special returning guest in the house. This man really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways. One of the most controversial voices in hip hop today. He's never afraid to speak his mind. I'm talking about the one, the only Hassan Campbell.
Hit him in the head with the headshot.
Hassan, what's good with you, bro?
Man, you know what I mean? Faster for the month of Ramadan. I done broke the fast. It's nighttime. I'm ready to get it in, get to work.
Yeah, I know. I know you've been going through it, man. I can't imagine how tough that is, bro. So it's like 16 hours of fasting?
Yeah, from sun up to sundown.
Wow. Well, bro, I'm just so glad to have you on the platform. It's been a minute since our last interview. It's been a few months since the incident with you getting shot. You know, you seem to be doing well. How has the recovery been for you?
I mean, I say it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. You know, sometimes you got to break yourself all the way down to build yourself back up. So I appreciate it. And shout out to the shooter.
You serious?
Listen. Oh, listen. Let me tell you something. Like I said, man, you know that situation was so real that people said it was fake. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then it was like you never see nothing like it on the internet, even where people don't even understand that was live. That wasn't a pre-recorded. Talking about what did I do? Like I don't control YouTube. What did YouTube do? What did the police do? You see what I'm saying? Those are the questions that should be asked. How you live? You get shot on a live. The camera goes off while you getting shot, then it comes back on mysteriously. Y'all got to keep in mind, y'all watching me outside. I wasn't even touching the phone. I'm live, but
Right.
you know, police reports, bullets, all that still ain't good enough. Like, nah, this nigga can't be that real.
But like mentally and emotionally, you feel like that didn't really affect you, that incident?
Nah, I mean, like, listen, when you done been through what I've been through, man, I bet like dudes don't like to admit that because they know they done heard who Poppy is, not Hassan Campbell, but Poppy. Like in my days, that's all I did. It ain't nothing to get shot. You get back up and you get back on the battlefield. That's it.
Yeah, because you've been shot a few times before, right?
Yeah. No, one other time. Only one other time.
And have you allowed yourself to like forgive that shooter?
I mean, yeah, I forgive him. You know what I mean? Just like you stay where you at, I stay where I'm at. Because if we ever cross paths, I mean, the truth of the matter is the people that did that had masks on, so I don't know who I'm looking for. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I could speculate and say, well, I got a lot of enemies, but the reality of it is that they had masks on.
I saw a video you did that you put up on Snotbox TV. For all those that you guys that haven't subscribed to that, make sure you do. But you were saying people saw you in a weak state and people you know are questioning you saying you're not the same Poppy anymore. Can you talk about that?
Well, you know what? The truth of the matter is, to a sense, is true because back in the days when I was Poppy, I did stupid things like felt like I didn't have nothing to live for, so I lived as if I didn't have anything to live for. But then when I found myself in jail, you know, I'm praying to get out because I want to get back to my family. But in all actuality, you shouldn't have to pray to get back to your family when you know you got a family. You prioritize and put your family first. Back in my younger days, I wasn't putting my family first. I would find myself in jail for homicides and attempt murders multiple times. And then when I'm behind that wall, I'm praying to God, please get me out of here. Anxious to get to court. You want the lawyer. What's going on in court? Did you got any good news? You got my paperwork? Like, so now you're eager to get home when you was already home and you put yourself in these situations. I put myself in those situations, just like I put myself in a situation to be shot. So it's like, okay, what did you learn from that? That there was no reason for me to go outside pissy drunk, taking out my emotions on the cameras in the streets. I asked for it. I got what I deserved.
You know, that's a really interesting way to look at it because I don't think that everyone would be able to process things in that way to be like, you know what? That happened to me for a reason. Like I asked for that.
Well, it's like this. How am I going to give the world advice if I can't take my own advice? If how am I going to have people believe in me when I can't tell myself the truth?
Right.
I can lie to you, but why am I going to lie to me? I got to be real with myself.
That's true. And you got to look at yourself in the mirror every single day. So you got to keep it real. You know, you said that people think you won't take revenge if you're given the opportunity because you're a family man, but you said that you were definitely going to. Is that something that you struggle with? That, like, although you have a family, you want to be with your kids, sometimes like you feel that part of you pulling you back?
Well, see, here's the thing. The best part about me being shot is not knowing who shot me. So it's like it gives me an excuse not to go get revenge because what am I going to do? Go hurt an innocent bystander? Suck it up. You know what I mean? I brought that on myself. I went out there. I created a situation. I called people out on a battlefield. I wasn't prepared for it mentally, physically. You know what I mean? And you reap what you sow. I gotta hold that down.
Do you regret it?
Now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Nigga come out show his face like yeah, I shot you. I think that you know what I mean. We'll take it from there because at the end of the day, when you a dude that's on my level, you ain't always got to be outside. I don't always have to. I could push at my point at this point in time in my life. I could push a button. You see what I'm saying? And the reality of it is that when you in the hood, dudes frequent and hang out in the same exact spots every single day, which makes it easy to get busy.
Right. Do you regret doing that?
No, I don't regret it. I personally feel like that's the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me stronger. For one, because I was spiraling out of control, and now that I done hit rock bottom, now I'm building myself back up. There is no more falling back down. There is no. I've learned that at the end of the day, I told my story. Everybody knows my story. Nobody wants to hear about it no more. Nobody cares. Okay, cool. I opened myself up to the world and told them my story. Some people love me for it. Some people hate me for it. But it is what it is. Now in life, it's time to move on. There's a bigger mission and a bigger purpose. My biggest purpose is to prepare myself from the grave. Number one. Number two, to be a father while I'm here. To be a leader, a role model. Give people something to actually look at and say, "Yo, I like this dude," or "I hate this dude." It's either or. Ain't no in between. I'm gonna give you a side. We're gonna pick a side.
Right. You know, I've heard people say you're Puerto Rican, but you're black, right?
Right. I have both of my family up.
Got you. Do you think that as people, we make the mistake of believing our own people are less likely to hurt us than people of other races?
Well, it's like when you watch Scooby Doo. The boogeyman is always somebody that you know.
Right. Is that why you said your number one enemy isn't the one suppressing you, but the ones that look like you?
I mean, of course, at the end of the day, nobody wants to see you doing better than them. Oh, the only person that genuinely wants to see you doing better than them is your father. When you have a real father, a father wants to see his son surpass him in everything that he does. Outside of that, everybody else don't want to see you. It's people they what they call friendly competition. What I call it envy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want your they don't want your help. They want your spot. You want to grow an enemy? Keep looking out for a person and then tell them no, and he gonna forget about everything that you ever done for him.
Yeah, that's a fact right there, bro. That's crazy. And you've helped a lot of people too. You've helped a lot of people. Um, but one thing I wanted to ask you is that you've been real critical of DJ Vlad in the past, right? But you ended up doing the interview with him. And I saw a video where you bigged him up and said a white man had to be on your side while black people were criticizing you. Can you talk about that?
Well, it's just like in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. He used to have this guy that would harass him and bully him every single day. And then after a week, he didn't see the guy, and the guy ended up being sick, real sick. And the Prophet Muhammad went to go see him while he was sick and brought him some food. And the guy ended up becoming Muslim. So in life, sometimes, yeah, I definitely threw some shots at Vlad, but at the same time, when people like Gully TV was sitting up there talking about it's over for Hassan Campbell, you had to do like Vlad extending his own platform, like, here, let me help you. So that was deep because me and Gully TV was supposed to be cool, but he couldn't wait to see me in the situation when he felt like I fell off that he attacked me instead of calling me on the phone and saying, "Yo, brother, are you all right? You know what I mean? I'm praying for you. I got your back." That's not the black man that he was. He was the one that couldn't wait for me to fall on my face because I surpassed him in this platform where he used to be king.
So prior to you getting shot, you guys were okay though?
Yeah, we started off beefing because when I first got on YouTube, he was throwing shade at me, making videos, dissing me. Then when I dissed him back, he flagged my videos, almost lost my channel. But then after some time of for whatever reason, he reached out to me, apologized, and got cool. That's because I was like really, really climbing on YouTube hard. Like y'all seen me. I was come on, the numbers I was doing every day. I was doing 100,000 views in 10 hours for like 3 years straight.
Right. That's crazy, man. What did you think about the criticism that you got though, like from like the general public when they saw you on Vlad?
Well, personally, I really didn't care because I knew that the hate came from me being on Vlad was me being recognized as somebody in the game. You're not solidified in the black world unless a white person put a stamp on you. So for them, it was only them being envious because I hit another milestone in their eyes. But for me, I feel like personally, you know, I made something of myself already. I didn't need Vlad. I feel like I didn't need Vlad at the time, but I actually appreciated the fact that he actually reached out to me.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm glad to see you doing better, bro, after the incident. I remember when I first heard about it, I reached out to you um via DM and just, was sending great prayers to you and everything, hoping a speedy recovery. I know you was going through a lot. So but yeah, I'm glad to see you doing better. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about Adam 22 and No Jumper and what they got going on over there? Because I know Vlad gets a lot of hate and told he's a culture vulture for some of the things he does, right? But when you look at Adam 22, it seems like there's a lot of chaos and the pot being stirred with gangs, and he's at the head of the table with that.
Well, I mean, with Adam 22, what I will say about Adam 22, I don't agree with everything that he got going on over there, but the reality of it is that he teaching people how to fish.
Mm.
He's putting people in a position where they can feed their family. What they choose to do and what they choose to say on that camera is on them. The fact that he's actually turning these dudes into content creators and see me being a content creator, I know how much I've made being, a content creator. So being on a No Jumper, where you got a dude that got millions of actually subscribers that YouTube allowed him to achieve, and him to give his platform to black men, they control their destiny. They control the way they act on that platform. It's on them. We can't. I can't blame a white man for how a black man decided that they want to carry the characteristics on his platform.
So you don't believe that he's exploiting gang culture or exploiting them? You think they're exploiting themselves?
Yes, they definitely exploited themselves. And the reality of it is, if he is exploiting gang culture, so what? If there's a dollar there, and people, if that's their lane, because the reality of it is, we can't watch Pornhub and all the rest of them porn sites and then get mad at him. It's the same shit. You got to pick your poison. There's something out there for everybody.
What do you think about what Wack 100 has brought over there?
I don't watch him. I personally think that Wack 100 is somebody that couldn't stand on his own 2 feet. He got his own YouTube page. He was on his own YouTube page. He wasn't doing numbers. So what he did was he decided, instead of me putting in the work and building his platform up the way I did, he went over there. He used Adam 22 as a cheat code. Because the reality of it is, if you go back to his Wack 100 page on YouTube, his podcast Wack 100, he wasn't doing no numbers. And that's just being real. His platform sucked.
That's crazy to think that he wasn't doing numbers, because he does so many numbers through Clubhouse, right? Like so many people just clip so many different things that he says on Clubhouse, and that's how they make full channels.
Clubhouse sucks. Clubhouse is the bottom of the barrel. Tell Wack 100 to go on his own YouTube page and go live on his own YouTube page without No Jumper.
Mhm.
Tell him to do what us YouTubers did authentically by ourselves. Then you got to keep in mind, Wack 100 had a name for years where There was a mystery about him where people were scared until he got into that dilemma with me and he ran into that brick wall called Hassan Campbell. Wack 100 is a master manipulator. You got to sit back and analyze. This is the dude that got exposed by me for the Nipsey Hussle scandal, but then had my channel like strike where I had to take all my videos down to get my monetization back, and then turn around and accused Big U of the same things I accused him and Big U of doing. He's a genius.
Right. He's definitely very intelligent and what he knows what he's doing. Um, what did you think of when he took credit for getting your channel taken down? Like he felt that instead of Fat Joe, that's what he said.
He took credit for getting my channel taken down because he was envious. I never asked him to come in my world. I never even asked him to acknowledge my channel. So he saw somebody that was doing good. And the fact of the matter is, WAC 100 is proof that somebody can be actually doing better than you in a better position in life and still envy you. He saw my life and my lifestyle that I was accumulating for myself, and he tried to devalue me for no reason, no apparent reason. So my question to you is, what you think about a person like that? Who does that? See somebody that's making a living for himself, actually taking care of his family, and then you try to destroy it?
Right. What do you think about the Benzino and WAC 100 situation? Like how WAC exposed some personal things about Benzino with the snitching and his fiance?
I mean, at some point in time, the street nigga becomes a grown man. And at some point in time, the snitching bullshit just got to go in the garbage. Benzino is not living like a street dude no more. The dude is in the industry now. He's a working man.
Yeah, that's a great thing to talk about because I've always asked, like, at some point, like, doesn't like do you not just
No,
always
better yet, hold up. Better yet. WAC 100 has to decide whether he's for snitching or he's against snitching because the reality of it is that when the doors closed for Takashi 69, he used me in the controversial interview that me, him, and academics did to go so viral. That the interview went so viral that because they used my energy. That's when I was top dog, and I'm going live with 20,000 people watching me on a daily basis. 20,000, 7,000, like this. The numbers that you see academics doing, those were my numbers. So I was creeping up, taking the number one spot, and they derailed me.
right?
Clear as day, everybody with eyes could see that they derailed me. And if you it's either you with snitching or you ain't. You standing with Takashi 69, but you mad at Benzino. What's the difference?
Yeah, but I wanted to highlight because, like you said, like at some point it has to go in the garbage, right? Because, like, I mean, are you going to be a certain age where you're like considered a senior citizen or something, and are you still going to be living by that code then, or like you've outgrown, you're not living that lifestyle anymore? Everybody has a different take on that. Some people feel like you got to take it to the grave.
My whole thing is all these dudes that's supposed to be so stand up. When there's sucker shit going on in the community, where are they at? Like one of the stories you see me dealing with today, you got the twin sisters that got stabbed up in Brooklyn. The reality of it is, where's the OGs at? That where's the big homies at? That's part of that set because he was a gangbanger. Shorty was a gangbanger. So the OGs of that set is supposed to have dealt with that already. The police ain't supposed to deal with that. They supposed to deal with that, but there is no rules. You can't put rules in a game that there is no rules. The streets have a black eye forever.
From what you understand, right? How does WAC acquire like recordings and videos and just everything almost on everybody?
Uh, De La Hoya, uh, Nipsey he's government. It ain't hard to figure out. Nigga move like he's CIA. If it walk like a duck, it talk like a duck, it's a duck.
Yeah, and that's another thing because I interviewed Hocus, right? And Hocus has said that he had got a call from somebody, that's connected that told him that WAC was an informant. Man, roll the clip.
I got a phone call today from a friend, and they called me because they reached out to one of their friends who is a ex FBI employee. They're ex FBI employee, not an agent, but an employee with the FBI. I won't say what they did or what they job description is. But my friend reached out to their friend because, and then when they was asking about him, and my friend asked their friend, is it okay if we call him and tell him, because Wack is baiting him? And so they called me, and in a long story short, they told me that everybody knows this in them offices, that Wack 100 is working like for the federal government. Everybody knows this, like to them. She said, we all know this. Listen, of course, don't put, I say, I'm not going to say no name. I asked them, is it okay for me to tell my people, just not say who? They was like, yes, it's okay. But please, beg me, please leave him alone. He's baiting you. He is baiting you. Leave him alone.
Listen, man, you've never seen a millionaire move like that before in your life. Usually a beef with giants. Wack 100, for you to come down to the level and sit down with a YouTuber, me, a YouTuber, and then pick a fight with a YouTuber. Wack name damn near was almost legendary status until he had that beef with me and he crashed into that Hassan Campbell wall. Because once he crashed into that Hassan Campbell wall, nobody respected him after that.
What is the ultimate what is the
Now,
ultimate goal for him, do you think, then? Because it's like beefing with so many people. Like, what is the goal of that? The just attention seeking, or what?
to, to keep you distracted, they spend billions of dollars to keep you dumb. And they use him, content creators, and sports to keep you dumb so that you can't elevate in life.
What do you think about the migrant situation that's going on right now in New York and all the politics associated with it?
Well, I mean, it's like you catching your wife cheating, and the dude that she's cheating with, she's doing everything that for that dude that she won't do for you. How you feel about it? They showing you your worth. I mean, you got migrants coming into this country, and in some states they got programs where they giving them homes, and they don't have to pay no mortgage unless they decide that they want to sell a house. That's like you basically telling people that's coming over the border illegal that they got reparations sitting here waiting for them, but we are the descendants of slavery that's sitting up here. We had everything taken from us, but we can't get nothing but welfare. It's a slap in the face.
Right. And that's the thing that I always say, is that America does a really good job of taking care of other people instead of their own. It's like, when the whole situation happened, when we needed them stimulus checks, whatever, it took forever for them to vote and figure it out, right? But as soon as like Ukraine or whatever needs money, it's like boom, overnight they get the money.
Well, I mean, you treat you treat a person how they deserve to be treated, and black people in America don't deserve to be treated like nothing. But we ain't worth shit. And the things that we promote and the things that we celebrate ain't worth shit. So we getting treated like that. Because the reality of it is, if black people honored each other in America, and we elevated ourselves, like we spend billions of dollars on sneakers instead of spending billions of dollars on new communities, instead of spending billions of dollars on factories and farms and land, we spend that on sneakers. And then we go wear our best outfit outside to impress people that don't even like each other. We go outside on corners where people want to kill us, and we actually die on them corners trying to impress each other. So why would somebody white that's in power actually give us something when we ain't worth shit?
Where do you think that comes from, as far as like wearing the wealth versus investing the wealth?
Black celebrities.
But that had to come from someplace before they existed, right? So where did that come from?
Before they existed, we was on top. And we were so strong at one point in time, whoever we was warring with at the time destroyed us so bad to where that there's no memory, and it's fake records of our history. The history that they have here for us is fake. The history that goes back in Africa is fake. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, right? In history, if you really, really, really travel the earth and you start looking in certain places in the earth, you'll find that the technology that we have here today was here from the beginning of time. And when you find that, them telling you that we was living in the Stone Age, there was never no Stone Age for us. There was never no Stone Age. as advanced as we are in technology right now, this technology is like when God says there's nothing new up under the sun, he means that there was nothing new up under the sun. This technology that we have here has been here from the beginning of time. So now you have to ask yourself a question. Like, let me give you a prime example, right? You got the Dogon tribe. They tell you, all about the solar system, and they tell you about the planet Dogon, right? They know the history of it. You have the people of Sentinel Island. If you look at the people of Sentinel Island, the people of Sentinel Island don't allow people from any other land to come on their land. And they look primitive and they dress primitive, like Indians, naked Indians, right? That's what they show you, right? So now they will be considered to be in the Stone Age. If you look at Hawaii, Hawaii had a laser beam, like in Star Trek, Star Wars. A laser beam come from the sky and burn a whole land down. So now, if you're reading the book, this book will be all over the place because you're like, hold up. So these people over here, they in the Stone Age. Then these people over here, they getting injections, and these people over here, they got laser beams, and these people over here got Project Blue Beam where they can control the weather. You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And then there's places on this earth right now where they dealing with advanced, what you would call alien technology. They're like 10,000 years more advanced than us than with the technology we have right now. But the government is not going to let you know that. So now when you look back and you reflect that history, you're like, okay, so I don't know what to believe anymore because everything that they told us is a lie and they purposely went out their way to erase our history. We are not slaves. We are prisoners of war. We are POWs.
What do you think about Dr. Umar Johnson and what he said about how like nobody that is not black can be the GOAT at something that is created by black people with hip hop, right? When he was talking about Eminem and he was saying, I don't see Eminem building schools for us, or I don't see Vlad building schools for us.
I don't see Dr. Umar building schools for us. All you see is Dr. Umar being a poverty pimp. He ain't nothing but another pastor. Point blank, period. That's what he is. Black people have learned to hustle black people's pain. You don't have to be a preacher no more. Now all you got to do is be a motivational speaker. Dr. Umar been building that school for how long?
Right. He's been collecting money for that for a long time because Vlad has him from like way back when talking about it in an interview.
Umar Johnson, Umar Johnson is a poverty pimp, and that's the bottom line to that. You have people that don't want to read, people that don't want to study. So when they hear somebody that talk a good one, they let you do all the work, and they mesmerized by it. He's giving you a lyrical orgasm, and people are falling for it.
What do you think that that's like a divisive tool that he's using, or what do you think is like the end goal?
Of course it is. You're talking to stupid people. Smart people don't want to hear. I mean, don't get me wrong. One thing I do love about Dr. Umar Johnson, I don't know why we call him that, doctor, is how he breaks down the board of education. He is the best at that. So he is good at dealing with the board of education. But outside of that, it's like, okay, you take the message and leave the messenger where he at because he's full of shit.
Why do you think people like Jay-Z or Diddy or these other black celebrities that are in positions of power, right, that are wealthy beyond their means, why they don't build schools for black people or contribute in the way that even giving 1% of their wealth?
Because they can't. They're puppets. They can't. Their main objective is to lead you to the hellfire. They'll lead you to an early grave while they lead themselves to paradise. That's what they get paid for.
And who's the puppeteer?
The colonizers, the ones who empower us, the ones who cut the checks, the same ones who own, the same ones who killed Jesus.
Okay.
Jay Z and all these people, all these celebrities, that you see are the same ones that killed Jesus. And if Jesus came back today or tomorrow, they would be on the same sides as the colonizers.
I want to ask you about somebody you once knew, B.O. from Bronx River, right? A lot of people know his name, but don't know his story. On the song "What You Gonna Do," Big Pun rapped hardcore like B.O., bringing the chorus, baby bro. What was your relationship like with B.O.?
Bo was that was my mentor. That was like Superman to me.
So you just met him like on the block, or how did you meet him?
Well, I grew up on the block. Bo was a legend of the block. Bo was part of the Zulu Nation, and by default, growing up in Bronx River, a nigga was Zulu Nation.
And he ended up getting killed. Do you know not who did it? I'm not asking you that, but like what happened or what they say happened?
Yeah, I mean it's public information. He was killed by my baby mother's brother.
Do you know over what?
It's the streets. Bo was a Bo was a Bo was a legend in the streets, and Bo was somebody that was looking to make his exit from the streets around the time that he got murdered. He was looking to change his life, and unfortunately, he died in the process of still having one foot in the street and one foot out the streets.
And you said that he was your mentor, right? Like, what did you learn from him?
Well, I mean, for one, he taught me that warriors could pray. He taught me that there was balance, because BLBO was the type of dude. I'm not gonna sit up there and act like my big homie was innocent. He wasn't an innocent dude. My big homie was a murderer. He was a killer for real. He was dangerous. He was feared. But he was also somebody. If he loved you and he had your back, he had your back. I mean, it's been since what was it, 1995, almost what you say, 29, 30 years since my big homie died. It still affects me. That was a tragic loss for me right there. I was in jail. I couldn't do nothing about it. Couldn't go to his funeral. That was one of the worst parts of being in jail. Just not being there, thinking to myself like, yo, if I was home, I know I'd have been standing right there with him when he went to go meet up with Showbiz in Castle Hill. Why was he over there in Soundview, Castle Hill area? He knew he had beef over there. Why wasn't I home to be there with him? Just things like that.
So you felt a sense of guilt that you weren't there with him when that happened.
It hurt. It hurt like hell. And then that situation was a situation that affected me. A lot of people don't understand because now that he got murdered, you know, me and my baby mother had to fall out. So when people be sitting up there talking about Hassan Campbell first son is gay, like yeah, I wasn't there for him. I wasn't able to be there for him like that. And then when I was there, the little times that it was so much tension and so much friction, it was like, yo, I never really got a chance to really, really be a father to him.
Mm.
That played a big part in it.
Do you have a relationship with him today?
I mean, we speak here and there, but for the most part, I'm not really too happy or too keen about my son running around dressing like a girl and you a boy. And I got sons. I don't want my son seeing that. It's nasty.
So recently, you caught some backlash when you did a video about DJ K Slay, rest in peace, right? You said you love K Slay, but there's the rumors about him having snitched on people. What made you want to come out and talk about that after it's been like,
It's not just that he snitched. The dude had two dudes murdered. K Slay had two dudes murdered that he told on. That's the part that got me. Me personally, I don't care about dudes snitching no more because I know it's part of the game. And I know some of the illest killers, as soon as they got, like, for example, how you bring up the situation with my big homie BO, you know, in the Pistol Pete situation, where you had the twins in them, the same dude that killed BO, which was the twin, David Mullins, he was killed by Pistol Pete sending a letter from jail. And all of the dudes that killed him, they told on each other. And then even with Pistol Pete, people got to understand Pistol was sending letters home from the feds ordering hits, and he knew the feds was reading his mail. So it's kind of like he set up his whole crew. I don't care what nobody say. A lot of dudes don't like that. They glorifying a dude that did an evil act. He took the whole ship down with him. And see, for me, I don't care what anybody say. I knew my big homie. I rode with my big homie. I got busy with my big homie. I bust my gun with my big homie. Prayed with my big homie. Ate with my big homie. A lot of these dudes running around talking about Pete never met him. My whole thing is I ran with my big homie. I got busy with my big homie. I prayed with my big homie. Fasted with my big homie. A lot of these dudes don't know Pete. They never met him. They are honoring a young boy. When Pete went to jail, he was in his early 20s, and they are praising the mistakes of a young man. When now this man is a grown man. Pete made mistakes. The things that he did when he was in jail, leading to the arrest and the murder of his right hand man, was dishonor. It was dishonorable. And these dudes are praising. I can't have a big homie that I've never met. I had the honor of meeting my big homie and going to war with my big homie. I can never join a set and call somebody my big homie that was a big homie over damn near 30 years ago. That man is not the
Hmm.
same man anymore. Pistol is not the same man. He's a grown ass man now. If he was out here in these streets, he would be a senior citizen doing what grandfathers do. So you got dudes today in the streets that's 40 and 50 years old still praising the mentality of a 20-year-old man and not the man that Pistol Pete is today. Who is Pistol Pete today? What would he say to the younger generation today? Not the mistakes that he did 20 and 30 years ago. He did that as a child. He's a grown man now. But you got grown men out here praising what he did in his 20s. But the crazy part about it is these same grown men that's out here praising what he did in his 20s, they ain't even got the balls to do it in their 40s. So why are you praising it?
Right. So back to K Slay, right? With him having passed away 2 years ago or so, right? What made you want to come out now and speak on it? Because I know people gave you backlash, like, why won't you just let that man rest in peace?
Because when I saw the ugliness of what he did, I responded in a drunk moment of wow, this was just disgusting. Because the reality of it is, I would have never came at K Slay like that. I got love for K Slay. K Slay spoke highly of me. I spoke highly of him. But to see what he did, you think the family, the mother of the deceased, don't want people to know what that man did to her children?
And how much proof is there that that really happened?
There's paperwork on it. His name is on paperwork. His name he told on he told on two guys, and both of those guys he had murdered when they came home on a homicide. He got locked up for bootlegging. He got locked up for bootlegging, and he told because he didn't want to do no time. And despite what people just got to be a man about it. If you still love him, then say that. But they can't say they still love him under those conditions because they be the same niggas screaming "kill all rats." I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you were like, you don't even understand. There's so many people that got sealed indictments. If I'm just waiting, I'm just waiting to get the paperwork on this Puerto Rican rapper. That's all I'm gonna say. If I ever get that paperwork, and it's not that I even care about it at this point in time. If I ever get the paperwork on that Puerto Rican rapper, he's done.
You can't say who the Puerto Rican rapper is?
So I'm just gonna leave it as the Puerto Rican rapper for right now.
Okay,
I'm gonna
all
leave it
right,
as
all
that. But if I ever get,
right.
because you know what, I'm never gonna make something up off somebody. But these dudes be telling on homicide cases and still be around.
So you said that you saw the paperwork, right, for K Slay, but how did you find out about the people getting murdered over him? Like he ordered that hit or what?
Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, he definitely did. You gotta understand, K Slade grew to be strong in the music industry, and he had a lot of dudes around him. But you know what? Out of respect for his family, I'm not even gonna go into on K Slade no more because I don't want to seem like I'm just trying to destroy that man or his image. Because when I spoke out against K Slade, it was really a drunk moment and me just being in my feelings because I don't hate K Slade. I got love for K Slade. His brothers used to reach out to me, the two twins or whatever the case may be. Shout out to them. I'm not trying to drag the man or nothing like that, but it is what it is.
Right. So it seemed like you were kind of hurt by it more than anything because you admired him.
Of course, you know what I mean, and that's the whole thing that people fail to realize. It's not that I'm trying to tear the man down. It is what it is. He told. But these dudes, it's just crazy. It's just like, you know, it's sort of like with Fat Joe, right? When Fat Joe made the video talking about if Bambaataa dudes is trying to destroy hip hop under one breath, and then if Bambaataa did this, he should have been killed. But then when you sit up there and you Google, Fat Joe had a sexual assault case, and then under the sexual assault case that he had, his ghost writer or rapper that was down with him, TA, was actually there when the assault happened and actually vouching that it actually did happen, and that girl was she was mistreated and mistouched, and then have more allegations.
Yeah. Did they ever say like what happened with that situation? Like it just went away?
I mean, the situation went away because, from what I understand, Joe got lawyers, but at the same time, you got to understand too is now they was basically saying that Joe's name was on the Epstein list, and he's saying it's a misunderstanding. But the lawyers that had the list, they also said that some celebrities um begged the judges to get their name taken off of the Epstein list because it would destroy their they catalog and who they are in the industry. So now you have to ask yourself a question: was his name really on that list, or was it not on that list? Because some of those people had their names removed so that they could be anonymous. And then when you got
Wait, didn't he come out and say that there was a fake list that came out that had his name on it?
yeah, he said it was a fake list that had his name on it, but it wasn't a fake list. It was a list. Here's a list. And out of all people, why would his name be there? But okay, let's say Joe was innocent. Joe, let's just say he wasn't. It doesn't look right that you sit up there defending Africa Bambaataa. That's a strike against you. When everybody knew what time it was with Africa Bambaataa, you acting like you didn't know that this man was a pedophile. You acting like you didn't know that he was a sex predator. You acting, but then when you Google Fat Joe, what comes up? Fat Joe, a sexual assault case. It comes up. So now you had allegations with a girl. Then you got a song. Then when you sit back and you analyze Fat Joe, he got a song rapping about having sex with a 16-year-old. Now I'm sitting up there saying, well, damn. So you got a song rapping about having sex with a 16-year-old, and your ghostwriter is accusing you of being a 40-year-old in a relationship with a 16-year-old.
Yeah, that situation did not age very well. Whoever wrote that song, that definitely, sheesh.
Yeah, but you know that the sad part about it is that when this video play and these so-called quote unquote real niggas that run around with this nigga, they hear this, they look into the evidence, they still gonna act like they don't see it because they don't care until it's their sister, until it's their daughter.
Right. So the situation with Jim Jones, from what I gathered, it started from you coming from a good place. Like you said, you rock with his music, but you just want him and other rappers to give us more of the good side. Like, stop selling us just the hood because we already know that side. Help us become better.
Well, with Jim Jones, the damage is done. Jim Jones was a billboard for gang activity. The same thing Casanova two times got convicted of for being a billboard of recruiting younger people in the gangs. Jim Jones was the first to do that on a big scale in New York City. And under his catalog, he had many people in the penitentiary and in the early grave. That's the bottom line to that. His kid went to camps and colleges, while our kids went to the penitentiary in the early grave. There's no other way of explaining that. And now that they senior citizen rappers now, because niggas don't want to admit it. I don't care how young you dress. I don't care how much jewelry you put on. You are a senior citizen, and niggas did more damage than good.
So you're basically looking at it more like, yes, you saved yourself, you saved your family, the ones that you love, but then like at the cost of everyone else that consumed your art.
At the cost, yep, at the cost of the black community. That's why they call it selling your soul, because even if you didn't sell your soul, you sold the soul of your community. And I'm not one of those people that's going to sit up there and say, well, their mother and father should have raised them better, because the reality of it is that we have psychological war going on. We got physical war going on. We got financial, economic war going on with us. We like we never had a fair shot since slavery. And the worst part of breaking a person down is when you mentally break a person down. Then you flood the community with drugs and alcohol, and then you constantly, repetitiously play music that poisons the minds of children. How you gonna elevate? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's why they gave us music.
And you're right. You know what? Like a lot of people just view diet as what you consume orally, but they don't think about what they're feeding their mind, right? What you have on your social media, what you're consuming it through your ears, you know, what you're listening to. Um, some people would argue though that you've had some artists, you know, on your videos that you play at the end of the videos and stuff, and some of the things that they're rapping about is within the same vein.
I'm glad you said that. Which one is it, Lord I Can?
I don't
No
remember.
time for sleeping. The enemy creeping. If we can't defeat them, we gotta stay woke. I mean, let's take it back to where I had dudes like Five Guard when me and Five Guard was rocking with each other. Black lives don't matter. Where's all the fathers at? You see what I'm saying? What dudes do is they take away now. So when I get a dude like Swelly, RIU, Rico, cousin, and them, shout out to them brothers. So now when I take dudes that comes from sex, money, murder, a sect that I had beef with in my earlier days, and I start trying to help them to make better music and help them to get on a righteous path. And nothing happens overnight. I'm the bad guy, but just keep in mind, my message is my message. And with the music, it's balanced. You might get a little bit of that shoot 'em up, bang bang, and you might get a little bit of say less or Lord I Kim. Every intro, damn near, I'm playing Stay Woke.
Right.
When I was rocking with Five Guard, I was playing Stay Woke, and I would sit up there playing Five Guard on Black Lives Don't Matter. Black Lives Don't Matter should have been one of the biggest songs in the country. It should have been one of the biggest songs in the country. But the reality of it is that people, because the main industry ignored that song, people ignored that song. So now people not going to give me credit for the positive that I do. But keep in mind, don't judge me for rap music. I'm not a rapper. Judge me for being a person that shared my stage with people that's trying to make it. Judge me on that. And then when you judge me on the music, now go back to all my videos and see how much negative music I play versus positive music.
Right.
Now we talking.
The same thing with Mano, right? You feel kind of similar with that? Like what is the situation with Mano?
There's no there's no, there's no difference between Jim Jones and Mato. They're the same nigga. The same nigga. They're gonna sell you the streets, knowing that all these kids is dying in the streets. They're gonna keep on selling you the streets till they can't sell you the streets no more. Knowing that they living good. They don't even have to sell you the streets no more. But they're gonna come back and get every street dollar that they could get. Niggas don't want to be Malcolm X's. They don't want to be Huey P. Newtons or you know what I mean, just that revolutionary spirit. They don't want to do that. Nah, they want to be they want to be the nigga that sell you the hood. And the worst thing that you could do is sell a young black man the hood.
Have you had a conversation with Mano directly?
Of course, a few times.
And what was that interaction like?
I mean, at the end of the day, me and Mano kick it and talk, and it's not. Listen, you know what? Part of me is mad at Mano and Jim Jones, and the other part of me is like, yo, you know what? What's a nigga to do? Who wants to go back to living in the hood? A person to damn near do everything and anything to get the hell up out of the hood.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's like, you know what? In order for niggas to stay afloat and keep money in their pocket, they got to poison the minds of the people in the hood. And then at the end of their career, when their career is almost over and there's just no more raps left in their old ass, them niggas will put suits on and look like grown men. That's a smack in the face to everybody in the black community. Now we gonna put suits on to show y'all what grown men look like.
Where do you think the whole mindset comes from of like the only way to make it out the hood is either if I'm rapping or if I'm like dribbling a ball, playing a sport?
That comes from TV. That them showing us and programming us. This is the only way we gonna make y'all rich. Instead of us coming together like a village in a community and putting our money together, that's the only way to do it, to make us a superpower. But we don't believe in us, and all we want to do is hurt us. We don't believe in each other as a people. We look at each other through the eyes of a colonizer. So we see the enemy when we see each other. We see God when we see the white man. We see the devil when we see ourselves.
You know, with that being said, it seems like while you have a lot of drama with other people, you also use your platform to preach a positive message a lot of times. Maybe not in like the nicest way, but the intention is good there. Why do you think that people don't give you the acknowledgement for that? Like so many people hate on you.
Well, they gotta hate on me because the reality. I mean, like, come on. When you sit back and you analyze it, they hate me for the same things that they love Charleston White for. That man came through the game and stole my whole style. He mimicked and stole my whole style. The people I was beefing with, my message. I'm the first dude on social media that went against the gangs in Black America. That's why niggas hated me. I'm the first dude that went against every gang in the rap industry. This has never been done before until I did that. Then Charleston White comes out of nowhere doing the same exact thing, my same strategy, attacking the gangs in the music industry. And then when he finally gets to where he want to be, he tells you that it's entertainment.
What's the status of things with Charleston?
I mean, he's sitting down. He done made it to the pearly white gates now. He's sitting down with Aiden Ross, the same dude that he accused of trying to set him up with a transgender.
Wow, yeah. That's crazy that he has reached those heights now, right? He's with Aiden, with a lot of other podcasts too that are pretty up there.
Well, I mean, I wish Charleston White the best of luck, man. Everybody got a family to feed. I just hope that if you're gonna start plagiarizing and using my shit, give me credit for it. Because if you pay attention to the best of Charleston White, what they did was they took him on bigger platforms and they elevated him on bigger platforms. Charleston White numbers wasn't messing with my numbers when he had his own YouTube page. It wasn't. That's why you know he's an industry plant because he actually sat up there and disrespect. First, don't nobody get away with talking about killing white and raping white women. Nobody. Don't nobody get away with disrespecting the Jewish community like him. Nobody. And then the actual Jewish community actually send one of their own to elevate him. He's a plant.
What do you think the goal is with that? Just distraction?
Of course. Like you gotta understand something. They say the revolution will not be televised, but then you gotta do like Hassan Campbell making waves on this internet. J. Edgar Hoover said that the next Messiah will come from the FBI. So now you got one that's genuine. So what we'll do is we'll duplicate this genuine one with a fake one, which is Charleston White, and then we'll enhance him and elevate him and have him say all the same things. So now you're looking at this one right here and praising him and hating the other one. That's exactly what happened. Because at one point in time when me and Charleston White was actually cool, until he started disrespecting Math Hoffa's children, that's when I had to fall back from him. And I did this. And what people don't understand is Charleston White started making diss videos about me first. And I ignored him for 2 or 3 weeks before I responded to him. Because it also came at a time where I lost my monetization. So I was being smart about what I was doing.
What do you think about the people that defend him by saying that, oh, he doesn't really mean that stuff. He's just saying it for attention, whatever. He does all these good things in the community. What do you think about that?
I think that he's an actor, and I think that he's full of shit. He came into the main stage telling people that he was a hero, and then he showed you a different side, and then made excuses. But people got to understand, I was the first one that told people that Charleston White is he's acting to get his message out because I wanted people to believe in Charleston White because I liked what he was doing. But then when I sat up there and seen how he was disrespecting, like some of the things that he did, there's no turning back. You got close to the mothers of the dead rappers just to use them to enhance you on a platform. And then when he got done with them, he kicked them to the curb and told everybody he could have fucked all them bitches. That was disrespectful. Then he kicked him to the curb. Everything was about his image and uplifting his image. It was about success. It wasn't about the people. But you know what? In this day and time, we are so broken as a people. It's not about the people no more. It's every man for himself. If you got a crew, run with your crew. If you got a family, run with your family. Whatever, whoever got your back, have their back, and move the same with them. Because as far as trying to save this nation of people and us as a people, there is no us no more at all. There is no us.
What's the situation with you and China Mac? Because I know that you guys went back and forth, but then you had that live where you guys seemed to squash it, right? You said, "Oh, let's go get some Chinese food or whatever." Blah blah blah. What happened after that?
There is no after that. I mean, I don't focus on Duke. I wish him the best of luck. Let him do what he do. China Mac, I don't pay attention. There's nothing I can say about him. I don't pay attention to him no more. I just see that China Mac. I personally think that he has his own culture. That's a big culture over there. I think I would love to see him in some karate flips and shit like that. I would love to see him doing karate. I would love to see him cooking Chinese food and doing the things that his culture do and bringing awareness to his culture. I already know about my culture. I can't learn nothing from him from my culture. I want to see. I want to learn more about his culture.
Don't don't you think that he kind of shows that a lot with like going on, he went to Asia, he showed the culture there, the some of the places that he goes to eat at, he emphasizes that. I understand that.
I would have to take the time. Listen, I would have to take the time and watch him. I don't watch him. No disrespect to him. I don't watch him at all. It's like there's no purpose for me to watch him. Honestly speaking, you know, I don't really watch too many people at all at this point in time. There's people that I actually follow, and I don't get a chance to watch them because I be too busy. It's not that I don't like them. I be too busy.
So there's no problem with China Mac though. Like you don't have a personal problem with him at this point. You're just indifferent.
Listen. At the end of the day, I wish him the best of luck. I can't let him occupy space in my mind. You see what I'm saying? Like when it comes to any of these dudes on this internet, I don't really be letting them. Like my main focus is on people that have an influence over our children. That's what I focus on. The ones who have an influence. That's like when in my live I just heard it earlier tonight. The thing that I'm talking about the most is like even with black television. You go to Tubi TV, and those TV shows are the most ignorant shit.
Right.
And for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but I can't watch 50 of the same movies. When you see Star Wars, 50 of the same, when you see Star Wars, it's a classic. You see movies like Lord of the Rings, it's a classic. You see um movies like Avatar, it's a classic, right? Because it's some out of the box shit. But then you turn around, even when you watch Rambo, First Blood, classics. Then you turn around and you see uh, a fake Boys in the Hood. It's like it's not even Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. Those were classics too. But then you look at these like Tubi TV, everybody's a drug dealer, stick up kid, drug dealer, stick. That shit gets whack. And then it makes you feel stupid after a while. Like, damn, y'all ain't got no creativity.
It's the same story being fed over and over again, right?
Over and over and over again. And it's like that's what you call predictive programming. You're being programmed. And then it's like, yo, y'all niggas can't even think outside the box. I would rather watch a I would rather watch a karate flick when you see the villain goes down at the end of the movie, but and the karate do be the hero, but it be some dope martial arts. Then watch the same corny shoot 'em up bang bang bullshit.
That's why they say that like every few years there's like a recurring type of movie. You got the sports movie where the white person saves the black athlete, right? Like the Blind Side type of shit. You got the slave movie or whatever. It's like it's a lot of the same themes constantly being refed.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why it gets boring. After a while, you got to turn the TV off and turn the radio off and elevate your mind.
What is the situation with Five Mics? I know partly it was over the comments you made about Ti and his son, but I know Five is also Joe's man. So did it spill over from that?
I mean, nothing spilled over to nothing. Five mics is five mics. He's doing. I mean, I wish the best of luck for Five Mics. You know what I mean? I don't really We had our words or whatever the case may be. It ain't really that serious to me unless we got, well, if it's a problem, let it be a problem. If it's not going to be a problem, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't pay five mics no attention. I don't pay him no mind. I wish the man the best of luck. I see he, you know what I mean? He out there, he looking 60 in the face trying to drop an album. Good luck.
Haas, you know, you can't do
Good
that. You
luck.
can't be like, I wish him the best of luck, but then you diss him at the same time and say he looks 60 in the face.
I listen. It's not dissing him, nigga. Like I'm creeping up on 50. And honestly speaking, for me, just being real, I don't put an age and say that there's an age limit on rap. But when you not on and you still trying to get on at 50 and you suck, when you got to use your money to buy your way into these rappers' lives to be out there, I mean, it is what it is. I don't, like personally, I don't see nobody bumping five mics in their car. It's not happening. I don't see nobody
How do
blasting.
you know he's buying? How do you know he's buying his way in?
You didn't see the video with him at UL's house and Jim Jones' house, giving him bread, using his little money that he had, whatever money he got from whatever investments he did. Nigga, he was paying his way into. He was like, nigga, he ain't Illuminati ain't select him. He paid his way in them niggas' lives.
Hmm.
I know people that know that man. He paid his way in them people's lives and didn't take care of the niggas around him. Now he beefing with his number one shooter, but I ain't gonna even get into that.
I know he said that you were not the king of New York and you don't make the Bronx look good and all this, right? And that you can't go back to the Bronx. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like when I watched that video of you roasting him, like that was crazy. Like I think that if you didn't if you didn't experience all these messed up things in your life, that you could have went into comedy. Because the way that you was roasting every outfit and saying he got a Best Buy outfit on and everything, like I don't know if I've ever laughed that hard in my life, bro. Like I couldn't believe it.
Listen, man, at the end of the day, man, y'all watch me go to Bronx River and call niggas outside with no gun and stood there and got shot. Do it look like I can't go back to the Bronx? Do I look like I fear anybody? Do I look like I even got respect for any of them? And my address is on the internet. After I got shot, I got on the internet and told niggas, y'all know it's my turn, right? Do I look like I was scared? That's the difference between me and them niggas. When you see me outside, I move by myself. I don't have to move with an army or with a crowd. It's me. What you see is what you get, me. But you know what? For the most part, like Jesus never looked good in Nazareth and Galilee. He was persecuted. He was hung. When people like you, you're doing something wrong. I don't want to fit in. I want to stand out. The Bronx is not a beautiful place. It's an evil, ugly place where people die every day. Good people are being held captive by street activities and gangs and drugs. Good people are being held captives. You got people that live in the Bronx that their dream is to get out, but they can't afford to get out. So they stuck living in a nightmare of a dark cloud all over them. So when niggas be sitting up there talking about the Bronx, a nigga can't go back to the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan. Nigga, do you realize people that get out, that made it out the way I made it out, don't never want to go back? I'm the stupid nigga that keep going back because there's people there that I love that don't love me. That's the difference. When you get out of the hood, it's not meant for you to go back to the hood unless you're trying to rescue somebody from drowning in the hood. When I go back to the hood, I'm trying to rescue somebody that's drowning. I'm not going back to the hood to get stripes. That shit is disgusting.
So do you think that that's what most rappers do when they go back to the hood?
No, they don't go back there. They go back there to keep street cred.
That's what I mean. That you
That's what they go back there for. They go back there to keep street cred. I don't need street cred. I need cred for my kids. That's why I want my credit at with my children. And then even with that, everybody ain't gonna give you the people ain't gonna give you props for the things that you did. I don't looked out for a lot of people that'll never give me props for what I did. I could give a nigga $1,000 right now. Tomorrow, after that $1,000 spent, is like as if you ain't never did nothing.
and I'm sure you've done that a lot for a lot of people, right?
Of course I have. Of course I have.
What keeps you going then to continue to give to people if that's like your experience?
Because at the end of the way, at the end of the day, people give to me also. When you see me doing a live on YouTube and you see my super chat, total strangers are coming to me and giving me money. I can't even get money from my friends and family, but total strangers is giving me money. But I can't even say that because I don't ask them. I thank God that He put me in a position where I don't have to ask my friends for nothing.
So you've been real critical of hip hop in the past and how people have used it as a destructive tool, right? Not too long ago, Fat Joe came out and said he lied in 95% of his rhymes. What did you think of that?
He told the truth for the first time that he's a liar. That you can't believe nothing that comes out of his mouth. He's a liar.
Were you surprised when he said that?
No, because I've listened to things that he said on his podcast and people sent me clips of stories that I knew that happened in the streets, and I knew some of these stories, and he's a liar. That's what liars do. They lie.
What do you think was the well, actually, you can't talk about any of the stories, right?
What stories?
The stories that you were just talking about. You said that you knew the real stories and the ones that he told was like a lie.
Yeah, some of them stuff I don't even, you know what I mean? I don't really want to dig up none of that street stuff, leave it right where it's at.
Right.
But, for the most part, the dude, I mean, I wish Fat Joe the best of luck, man. At the end of the day, y'all don't pay attention to what's going on with Fat Joe and how he's with those politicians. You ain't never asked yourself a question. You ain't never asked yourself a question of why Fat Joe running around with Kamala Harris after she done locked up half the community. Kamala Harris is the FBI. Fat Joe is running with the FBI, and he's a known rapper that has drug kingpins around him. He has drug kingpins around him, all drug dealers around him that's still active in the street. What are you doing with the vice president? Nigga, you are not Ghost. This is not power.
Do you think that him coming out and saying that I lied in 95% of my rhymes was a way for him to clean up his image because he's headed in that direction of politics?
I think that the politicians don't even give a damn about whether he lied or not because they know the truth. The FBI studies everybody. They know everything. They know the history of Fat Joe, who he run with, everybody around him, who he visited in jail, who's coming home from jail, hanging out with him. They know that. And back in the days, politicians wouldn't mix themselves with dirty work like that. But now, because there's an agenda to use them to infiltrate these streets. See, this is what you have to understand. We are going through dark times. We are getting ready to go through cata- catastrophic things in this world. Pole shifts, storms. The earth is going through a change, a shift. And for those of us who survived that shift, they still trying to maintain their control in the streets. So this is what they're going to use these rappers for. And that's the role that Fat Joe is playing right now, to sway the people. And this is why he keep himself connected with some of the niggas that he keep himself connected with in dangerous areas in the Bronx.
For what reason? So that he can come back to the Bronx or what?
So that he could, like, you gotta understand something. When the trucks can't come in the cities, when we can't get food supplies, when there's earthquakes, when there's tsunamis, when there's the power outages, when the people get upset and they start trying to cause a revolution and uprise against the establishment, Fat Joe is a puppet to sway the people, to calm the people. And when you have people that's in the streets that's muscle already, that's strong in certain areas, it makes it even airier because now he has a terror squad.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? To actually persuade the people. And then he actually comes from where we come from, and then he got niggas still where we at. We are being infiltrated on a serious level. Fat Joe was committing treason against his own community. And the people that run with them don't even realize what's going on because they're too stupid.
You know, I was just watching Star, right, from Star Report earlier today, and he brought this up and he said that, don't you guys see that they're trying to get the Latino vote? That's why they're bringing Fat Joe in.
It's more than just a Latino vote. They don't vote. We don't vote for presidents. Presidents are selected. The vote didn't get Trump in, and the vote didn't get Trump out. He was selected in, and he was selected out. The voting game, when it comes to offices like the president, it's a game. It's a game. You're never.
It's already pre-selected.
It's already pre-selected. You're not going to vote the Illuminati out of power. The people that's been in power is a bloodline. This bloodline has been in power from the beginning of time. This is their job. This is their purpose. They have their purpose, and we have our purpose.
So the fans have been wanting to know what's up with the TA interview. Is that ever going to happen?
Well, with TA, like we got to be careful with dealing with TA in the TA situation because I believe from certain things that I've been hearing and behind the scenes or whatever the case may be, because of certain steps that TA took, with arguments that he might have had with Joe, asking Joe for his money. Joe is going to flip that and try to get dues for extortion. So now, doing these interviews is kind of dangerous with TA because it's like, okay, if you can prove that we trying to extort Fat Joe, then that means we try to extort the African man by the two. So I have to be careful because if something like that was to happen and I'm tied to them, I could end up going to jail for actually doing interviews against Fat Joe because now it becomes a situation where they're going to try to make it seem like TA is trying to extort him out of what Fat Joe really owes him.
Oh, and so you're saying that they're going to try to tie in people to be like, you guys were helping him and getting something from it?
Let me tell you something. Fat Joe sat up there and said that I was trying to destroy hip hop. I lost my monetization an hour and a half later. That wasn't coincidental. You made videos with TA and out of nowhere lost your monetization. You don't see the connection?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. And the reason they gave me was total BS too. It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Because YouTube already, like, you can't really talk to somebody like on the phone. Like, they got them, people that do the live chat, but they're like outsourced to some other country. They might even be AI for all I know, but they're like only trained to answer a couple different scenarios, right?
Man, you'd be surprised which one of these YouTubers that we be watching that's also working for YouTube to sabotage your page. You'd be surprised.
Elaborate on that.
Well, I mean, some people actually work behind the scenes at YouTube. And when you find your page being rigged, you got to understand where is it coming from.
Yeah, my numbers ain't been the same since I came back, bro. And I totally see where you're coming from because, like, you're always talking about how they're pulling your numbers down.
My live ended. I had 3,000 people that watched my live. My live ended. My last live that I just did today, it ended with 9,700 views. YouTube gave me 135 views after my live went off for an hour.
Wow. So what is your plan to fix that? Is Snotbox TV helping you, like, because it's not fully connected? Or
It's time. It's time to branch out. It's time to rumble. It's time to build my own website. It's time to branch out. It's time to start doing meet and greets and bringing the people out. And see, even with you, I think at some point in time, if you smart, you start showing yourself and build your following up so that people will come out and support you. Because the reality of it is, this platform is a very disloyal platform, and they only give you 15 minutes of fame. Then they start trying to sabotage you. They're trying to kill you off before you even die off.
yeah,
I'm still considered to be the best of the best on YouTube, but look what they're doing to my numbers.
it's true, man. And it's hard because YouTube has like a monopoly, right? They know they could do whatever the hell they want. They're the best game in town, pretty much, right? And a lot of times people, they don't want to go to a different platform to watch you, even though they claim they love you, they'll support you, whatever. It's all about convenience for them. If it's inconvenient for them to go to your Patreon, to go to Rumble, or whatever, they don't care. No matter how much they said they love you or they'll support you.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, some people, your real supporters, it's just you just got to keep with your message, keep with your craft. People going to support you. Some are, some not. The ones that supporting you, that's the ones you roll with. The ones that ain't supporting you, I mean, it is what it is. Ain't no love lost because it ain't no love there.
Yeah, and I think that you've said before, kind of like not everybody that is watching you is really there to support you.
Come on, I just did a live earlier, and one of the people in the live was like, "Aha, that's why you falling off." Like, huh? Like, listen. At the end of the day, every TV show, after a while, your numbers start to die down. I'm cool with that. I get to bow out gracefully as one of the best in the game. You know, I got over 500,000 followers, even though I know my following is bigger than that. I know they held my numbers back. They're not gonna give me my true numbers. I'm good with that. I never it wasn't my goal to make it to where I'm at right now. But once I got on the path, it became my goal. And I did it. And it wasn't hard for me to do. I just kept working. That's it.
What's crazy to me is like, how do people talk shit and say that, oh, you fallen off when they themselves were never on to begin with? You still did something that they never did to begin with.
It's that part. That's the crazy part that's bugging me out. These dudes be lucky if they. Some of them be lucky if they even get 500 to 1,000 people. Like I'll still do a live and have 3,000 people watching me, and we know it's more people in the building. We know they sabotaging my platform, but you know what? It is what it is. Like I said, I bow out gratefully. I'm happy to still be, and I'm still able to feed my family. You know what I mean? I accumulated certain things out of life. I'm living on a level that I enjoy in life. I got my dogs, my fish, my turtles. You know what I mean? I got a pond in my yard, fish tanks in my kitchen, living room. Like, you know what I mean? I'm good.
Yeah, man. What do you think about how like every single time that people want to get one over on you, right? They go for the low hanging fruit, and they're like, "Oh, you thigh son," and like they make fun of such a traumatic incident that wouldn't be funny if it happened to somebody that they know. Like, why go for that?
Because hurt people hurt people. And some of these people hurt and they've been through the same thing I've been through and they hate the fact that I've overcome my situation and they haven't. That's why. Some of the people that tease me for what I went through, they've been through the same thing.
That's crazy. Like they would obviously know that
Yeah.
that's not a funny thing to talk about, but for the people that haven't been through it, why do you think that that's what they talk about to make fun of you?
Well, I mean, who makes fun of somebody's pain? It's something that's ugly. Is that's not something that you make fun of? But so what it is that they saw something in my life or something that I said affected them, so they hate me for it. You can't say something to me that make me hate you unless you are a child molester. You're a rapist. Outside of that, it's like you're a child killer or something like that. I don't care. Your opinion is your opinion. I'm not going to hate you. Like if you say something that I don't like, then I'm going to change that about me. If I don't like something that somebody said about me, I have to look within myself and change that. And whether people like it or not, what I've been through, the things that I've been through as a child, made me a great man in life. In their eyes, I'm a great man, so they hate me. That's what I think. They say the opposite of what they really see. They see a strong man that made something of themselves, and they still trying to find their way.
I know like a lot of people are critical of you and they think that you just stir up beef, but I've seen you use your platform for good, right? You speak on what you think black people need to do as a whole to be better. What is your ultimate goal from creating the content? Like, what is it that you want out of all of this?
To spark the seed of the brain of somebody young that's going to make them the next strong black man in this world, the next leader, the next man to raise their children the proper way, the next man that goes against the grain, never fitting in, always standing out. I don't want to fit in with the real niggas. In history, and I'm going to say this and make this clear. In history, history is never going to remember the real niggas. I seen Mano put up a post and said, all the real niggas know who he is. All the real niggas in this world ain't worth shit to anybody. And real niggas don't go down in history. Real niggas go to the penitentiary into an early grave.
Do you think that like we just have the priorities wrong? Like what we seem to covet, what we seem to idolize. You know what I mean? Like, well, like it's so cool to see somebody have that street cred and everything versus the person that is taking care of their family that I don't know, went to school, whatever, is working that 9 to 5 that they hate.
Listen, street cred, man, there's no such thing as street cred because you can't cash that shit in. I've never met a nigga in the street that had enough street cred not to have somebody else want to kill him. Some of the illest niggas in the hood got killed. Some of the illest niggas that my big homie BO was a monster. When it was his time to go, it was his time to go. The young wolves is going to take the old wolves out. The hood don't love nobody. Your street cred ain't going to get you nowhere but to the penitentiary and on the FBI's list. Your street cred ain't going to do nothing but take you away from your children. That's it. That shit don't mean nothing. It's not worth nothing. Because how they say every dog has his day, and that's how it is in the hood. The sad part about niggas that got street cred, when you see them niggas at 50 years old, all they got is street cred. And then they be on the phone asking a working nigga, can they borrow $100, $200, $500? Your street cred ain't getting you no money. What's the point? If your street cred ain't get your kids out of the hood, what's the point?
Do you struggle with like having that street mentality because that's what you were raised with, right? That's what you had to go through. But then like you've grown.
Only when I'm amongst black people, it's like people be sitting up there saying, "Yo, why you be telling niggas that you got bodies or whatever the case?" Because I be trying to make people understand the young kids can't relate to you if you ain't been through something. But the reality of it is, I don't have a point to prove unless I'm around my own people in the hood. Outside of the hood, if you take them hood niggas with that hood mentality, talking about they street cred, and you put them in the suburbs, they look stupid. They look out of place. That's why they got to go back to the hood because you can't sell that shit to people in the suburbs. They don't care about that. They're gonna laugh at you. You look stupid to them. I remember I was at a hotel and there was a bunch of white people in the hotel doing a convention, some type of convention at the hotel. And me, my black self, I'm running around. I got mad jewelry on me. I look so stupid and out of place. I actually looked like a nigga.
So for you though, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with having that street mentality, but then like you're older now and that you're focused on your family and everything, but there's at times that tug on you to be like, show us that you that real dude that you talking about. Like we want to bring you back to this.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can't let nobody trick you out of your freedom. You can't let the streets trick you out of and play you out of your position because it's will. That's what niggas do. You go back to the hood or you put yourself in certain positions, niggas will send a missile at you. They send a suicide bomb at you. Somebody that ain't got nothing to live for. Now, when the street mentality kicks in and you get busy, you in New York, you hit a nigga up, you on camera, now you in jail. And niggas is calling you a real nigga. Or better yet, see the smart people gonna sit up there and call you stupid. Oh, this nigga's stupid. You had all this going for your life. And I said, you know what? I thought about it like, yo, I had to really take a step back and really, really look around me like, yo, I really got a lot to live for. So now let me live. And I'm gonna really make niggas mad at me because I'm gonna live. And I'm gonna enjoy the spoils of war. I earned this shit.
But you have that temptation sometimes, right?
Of course, you always gonna have the temptations. It's like you always got unfinished beef or unfinished business in the hood. But the reality of it is that when you go to the penitentiary and you sitting in the jail cell, ain't nobody gonna take care of your family. Another nigga gonna be caressing your wife back. Your wife giving another nigga head. You talking about keep it tight. Keep what tight? The reality of it is that I'm creeping up on 58 years old. I go to jail right now. I'm 2 years away from 50. I mean 48. I'm 2 years away from 50. And then when you start to realize it, like, yo, dogs, you 1 foot in the grave already. The only thing left is the grave.
So Troy Ave turned himself in, right? How did the issues with Troy Ave first start?
Um, I don't even remember how they start, but with Troy Ave, probably just me commentating on the situation with him. A night of pleasure turned into a night of pain. The nigga said, "Yo, stop knocking. I'm doing something right now." A night of pleasure turned into a night of pain. And what it all boils down to is, you know, he turned Banger's death into a shit show. He turned Banger's death into a shit show.
Can you fault him for snitching?
Of course I can. The rules is the rules. The rules is the rules. When you enter that game, I could. Did you see me testifying and me going to the precinct pointing out the dudes that shot me? They got the footage. I didn't even go back to even. I didn't even go back to even look at the footage. I said if I gotta go sit down with the police to find out who shot me, I'd rather not even know.
But Haas, wasn't it just earlier you were saying about Benzino, like Benzino not in the streets anymore, like he don't got to live by that code? Like, does that the same not apply to Troy Ave?
I mean, see, for me, first of all, Troy Ave decided that he don't want to be a stand up dude no more. When he got caught in his situation, it doesn't work like that. You don't go to the club with a bunch of guns in your car looking for beef, like you ready to get it on, and then when that beef get cooked and your man get bodied, you tell.
So you're saying more like he asked for that.
It doesn't work
He
like
asked
that.
for that. So now you got to live with it.
Yeah, he asked for that situation. Yeah, he asked for that situation. The niggas stepped. They stepped. They stepped to what's the name? Taxstone. They stepped to him. I spoke to Taxstone. He told me the whole story. And Troy Ave didn't take a gun from him. Taxstone threw the gun after the murder happened. He threw the gun so he could run out of the club because he didn't want to get caught with it. Troy Ave picked the gun up and started shooting through the club.
Did you see the video where he was pushing the narrative that you paid some people to shoot you and it was all fake?
Of course he would do that because he don't want my life to look as real as it is. I paid somebody to shoot me. Like, come on, man. Outside on camera in Bronx River. It's like, come on, man. Doesn't it just make more sense to say that Hassan Campbell really, really does have beef? People really, really don't like me.
And you got to be really crazy to do that, to like pay somebody. Like, it wasn't like you were in a desperate position where you needed clout or anything like that. So the idea of doing that is just insane.
Listen, here's the thing, right? The worst thing that happened to me as far as in the streets is somebody shooting me, and now it shows the world that I'm vulnerable when I was once looked upon as a monster. So now people feel like, yo, this nigga could really be hurt. So now when other people see me, they may want to approach me the same way. That's not a smart move. That's not a smart move.
So my son was also brought into the Troy Ave situation because he was criticizing Troy, but you felt like he was being hypocritical. You felt he sparked some issues between you and Trife Gangsta, who's Banga's brother, right? And these issues could have been life and death.
That's exactly what he did. Me and my son had issues. We was beefing, and instead of him dealing with the issue, he tagged Trife Gangster in the situation on his Instagram, and then he fell back as me and Trife started arguing with each other. And it's like I just didn't like it didn't make any sense to me because I've never met a man that I was scared of. So arguing with Trife Gangster, a nigga that ain't do nothing about his brother's death, like what's your point?
Don't you think that my son does good things for the community though? Like what he represents?
No, absolutely not. I think that is it's all staged. It's all fake. He's part of Black Lives Don't Matter, which is an enemy. I mean, Black Lives Matter, which is part of a. They're pretty much a group of people that goes against man, woman, and child. Read their little catalog and their bio on their website. They're against the black family, but getting rich off of the deaths of black men and black women.
So what do you think about the whole gangsta but woke kind of ideology?
It just sounds dumb. It's a stupid slogan from a stupid nigga. And now that his movement is gone, he's just trying to find his way on social media. It's over.
Have you ever had a full on conversation with my son?
Of course, we had a conversation when he realized that we ran with mutual people that were strong, back in the days or whatever the case may be. But after Tamika Mallory, we squashed that beef at first. But then after I seen that, the damage that was done when Tamika Mallory told all them kids to let Target and AutoZone burn, and they started going out there rioting and looting. When I started seeing the damage of that, like I said, nah, I can't agree with that. And I seen that they was COINTELPRO. Next thing you know, she doing Cadillac commercials, covering one eye, pledging allegiance to the Baphomet. I mean, it is what it is.
So you've also helped a lot of other creators as well, right? What makes you want to help others? And if I'm not mistaken, you aren't on good terms with a lot of those that you help.
Of course not, because they don't want your help; they want your spot. And dudes feel like if they diss the nigga that's on top, is gonna bring you up. It's gonna bring them up to my level. It doesn't work like that. YouTube is the type of platform to where that is you may be bigger than what they showing you, but they're gonna reward you that they're gonna elevate you and reward you with that status when they get ready to, or they're gonna hold you back from that status when they get ready to. You got YouTubers that look like they got 10 and 15,000 subscribers and they really got 1 million subscribers, but YouTube is not gonna allow your platform to look that big because it comes with power.
What makes you want to help other creators though?
I mean, I help other people because it's just in my nature to want to see people win.
And does it ever like discourage you when you see these creators turn on you after the fact?
Sometimes I do, but then sometimes I don't because I sit back and I laugh because at the end of the day, you can turn on me all you want to, but these niggas would have never had a household name if it wasn't for me, and they can't get around that.
And you think that these are the creators that end up making lots of videos about you then after the fact?
Of course they do. I mean, you see them, but the reality of it is, look at them. Some of these dudes,
Let me ask you. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
some of these dudes, they're never going to be on my level.
You know, it's really interesting because when I first started YouTube, I saw you helping some of these creators, right? And next thing you know, I saw the switch when all of a sudden they started making videos about you in a negative light. So, is there anything that you are doing to make them turn, or you think that it's just because they want your spot?
I mean, the reality of it is that what excuse would you give for somebody biting the hand that fed them? If I would have never extended my arm to reach out to help these niggas, would we ever be beefing? No, because they wouldn't have a platform. Nobody wouldn't even be watching them.
Well, Hassan, man, I just want to thank you for your time today, bro. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans before we go ahead and wrap it up? Any projects or things coming out?
Put God first and pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. Because they smile in your face all the while they want to take your place. The backstabbers.
Yo, yeah, before we disconnect, let me ask you, how did you come up with that style? Like where you sing like some of the words in between, like it's like you just like it's all freestyle too. You're not going on a script. Like you're just that quick-witted. It's so crazy because I was watching where you was singing End of the Road by Boys to Men, right? And you was like, y'all singing Boys to Men to my nuts right now. And like, it's just like some of the things that you do is just so funny. Like my dad's a big fan of you, right? My dad watches you and he's just like, yo, Hassan is hilarious. He's like, Hassan is crazy. Like, so like, how did you think to do that?
I get that from my father. And my father is a comedian. He's stupid. My father used to be crazy funny back in the days. He's an idiot. my father was a my father was a total fool back in the days. I get that from him. That's in the blood.
All right, bro. Well, thank you so much again for your time, man. I appreciate you, Hassan, and I'm glad to see you doing well.
Yeah, yeah.